Good morning, everyone. I wanted to jump on and just have a conversation with all of you about what I've been experiencing, what I've been witnessing, and what I've been hearing from some of my clients and people that I'm working with, people who are around me. Okay. So the last, let's say, 2 weeks have been quite interesting here. And what I've seen is definitely people up leveling and people going to their next level by purging out what is no longer serving them, what is no longer aligned for them, all of that. But a lot of times when that purge out happens, it comes up for like one last dance, okay? And so I've been seeing that with myself for sure. Some old patterns, some old engagements with things, really getting caught up at times, like in the matrix, in the ways of the matrix, the material world, getting caught in the ways of the world, honestly, rather than what I know is true for me, which is the natural world, which is synced up with God and synced up with truth and synced up with everything that is real and natural and pure. And I always think of berries. When I think about that, I think of blueberries and how like natural they are, a superfood, an antioxidant, and what that does for my body when I eat them. It's like power food, you know? And that's what I am so passionate about staying tuned into and staying tapped into. And yet, sometimes when I get out into the world, the ways of the world have its way with me, to be honest. And I know that some of you don't understand the difference or don't understand the contrast because maybe you are like caught up in the ways of the world all the time. And I want you to know that there are choices here, my friends, without a doubt. Okay. And when you find yourself caught like back in the matrix or caught back in an illusion or caught back in an old pattern or program, number one, know that you don't have to stay there. Number two, know that you can rise up and out of it when you catch yourself there. And number three, you never, ever, ever have to beat yourself up for being there again. Because you know that's not your truth. You know that you've shifted so much, you've done so much healing, that's not your truth. And yet sometimes, like the matrix has its way with us. That's what I want to say. The ways of the world have their way with us. And yet we don't have to stay there, okay? And what I am seeing, my friends, is there's so many people still living in the darkness, still living in the illusions, okay? And so when I get caught there because maybe I've engaged with them or I'm in their space or I'm in their environment and it's like, oh, wow, that's how I used to live, right? And it's like, okay, here it is. And if I get caught up in it, I realize that's not at all where I want to be or where I want to live. Okay. And yet I also realize it's where a lot of people are living still the majority of the time. Okay. And that being said, you don't have to. Okay. You don't have to live in those dark places. You don't have to live in like the matrix and in the loops and in the continual patterns and programming and all of that, okay? So some of the things I've been seeing is like the over-sexualization of women, without a doubt, not like holding boundaries in certain environments, because someone is like maybe powering over you or their energy has affected you. Spiraling down into a lower energy or a lower vibration, matching again the environment around you rather than holding your own and staying here. Okay. Plummeting down again into like someone else's truth, those lower energies, those darker places. Okay. And I've experienced this a little bit in the last couple of weeks as well, like 3 different times. And I realize how quickly I can shift out of it. I realize how quickly I can come back home. I realize so clearly how I choose to live and where I choose to live as far as living in the light and living in the natural world rather than living in the matrix and living in the illusion and living in the falseness or the fakeness on what's playing out here. And so it's huge reminders on what you stand for and what you're choosing. Okay. And again, I feel like some people don't even know that there's options, that there's a choice, and yeah, that's something I am so passionate about showing and living and being an example of here. Okay. I think it's easy to get caught in the ways of the world, and yet there's something within your soul that knows that what the majority of people are doing here is not right. The way that I have seen men treating women, the way that I have seen women just accepting it as norm, the way that I have seen women, myself including, not hold a strong boundary at times. And yeah, I think there's just like this normalization of things that are incredibly toxic for both the masculine and the feminine. Okay. And yet, if that's all you've ever known, like, you don't even know how toxic some of those things are. Right. And so this whole dynamic, I know in my world, between myself and the masculine energy, it's totally changing. It's totally shifting. And even though being completely vulnerable, I saw some old patterns come in over the last couple of weeks. So what? They were just purging out, right? And as long as we realize them, and as long as we learn from them, and as long as we say, you know what, I'm going to do it differently next time. And I'm on the cusp of something so incredibly expansive and fantastic and life-changing that I'm going to keep going that way and set aside all the distractions that are trying to come in, right? Not an easy feat, my friends, at all. Not an easy feat when you're going against the grain. Not an easy feat when you're standing up and you're expressing and you're, living and showing the world who you are, what you're here for, what you stand for. Okay. You will get so much kickback, and that's okay, because I know that there are so many of you with really important gifts and knowledge that is meant to be out in the world at this time. Okay. That you're still working through some fear. You're still hiding a little bit. And I just want you to know that it's safe to come up and out. I know that's like a repeated message that I keep saying, but it's absolutely true. Okay. And there's going to be so many things I'm going to say of the matrix, of the other agendas that are going to try to shut you back and hold you down. And when that happens, you rise up every single time. You rise back up. You rise back up. You rise back up. Maybe they knocked you down for an hour, 2 hours, a day. Doesn't matter. You get back on and you come back home and you rise back up and you remember. Okay. And so if you're like, you know what, I need the consistent support, a community that is also heading in that same way of creating solutions here, of being tapped into what is real, what is true, the natural world, the light, please come join us in the membership program. I'm going to post the link below. It's a super low price point per month that just gives you a lot of consistent support. Okay. And where you can ask questions, where you can connect with other community members, all of that, my friends. Okay. And we're on the up and up. Like, things are definitely rising and shifting and being created. And I'm so passionate about staying tapped into that so that I can bring all the beautiful creations that I'm here to bring to this world, out to this world, number one, and share that with all of you. And my intention also is to inspire all of you to know there is a different way, and that you do not have to live the ways of the world, my friends, because I just feel like that, they'll chew you up and spit you out. That's how I feel. It's vicious out there at times. And that's why I hide away, from being out in the world and just living a pretty quiet, simple life at times. Okay. And then when I go back out and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. And then I'm reminded of, everything that entails, that just simply no longer resonates anymore, my friends. Okay. And so wherever you're at in this journey, I totally honor you. I do. And I think it's beautiful if you're like, you know what? That doesn't feel good anymore. That doesn't feel right anymore. I need to shift. Something here needs to shift. I don't buy into that truth anymore. I don't buy into that reality anymore. That's not what I'm here for. That's not what I believe anymore. Okay. That never served me well. And now I'm understanding it. And now I'm realizing it. Okay. And it's important to have people around you that can support that. Because again, the norm is over here doing this, right? They're over here doing this and we're over here doing this. Okay. Two totally different things. Not walking the common path. At all. Okay. And I know that so many people know that things are changing here, that things need to be done differently, that they want to do them differently. And sometimes it's simply not knowing the how. Okay. So again, I'm going to post the membership program below. Thank you for being here. I love sharing, although I can't share all of it because I like my privacy too. I try to give you enough that might spark something in you and help you to understand possibly where you've also been the last 2 weeks or what's been going on in your life, the purge out, the shifting, the new moon, the everything that came with that. And every day you have a choice. That's what I want you to know. Every single day you have a choice on what you're going to engage in, how you're going to live here, and all of that. All right, my friends? And you deserve people who absolutely match you and support you and will help you rise to your next level and into your fullest truth. That's the most important thing here. Got it? And you don't have to hide any of it, my friends. You get to own it all. All right, so here we go. Much love, many blessings. Again, if you want to join us, I'm going to post the link below. And there's a lot of great stuff happening over there. A lot of my members having amazing shifts and realizations and all of that. So it's like the step in, the one step in. That's where you can get started with this. All right. So I'll see you here again very soon, my friends. Have a beautiful day.